Formula Truck 2013 is now available on Steam. Why should you be interested in a 2013 title in 2015? Well, because it comes from Reza Studios and it's brilliant. For those familiar with the ISI motor engine, you'll probably know how to set up this sim, but for those new to this engine, here's how I'd normally do it. Select your resolution, anti-aliasing, refresh rate, no VSync. And then we get this glorious cheesy rock. Main menu, straight to the options, difficulty. There's some presets that change the assists and the AI strength. Veteran has everything off apart from clutch, so let's turn that off as well. Then rules. Pretty much all fine. Let's turn the race time down a bit. Controls is where it gets a bit strange. There's some presets, but they're not necessarily going to be correct. This is me pressing the brake, so that's clearly wrong. I've got a T500, so if I find T500 on this and hit load, now the axes work, but not everything is correct. Now, force feedback effects, you can put it up to full, but that's not necessarily better. I'd suggest low or medium. It's the amount of effects rather than how good they are. The shifters are wrong. They're swapped around for some reason, so I'm just changing them around. What else do we need? Yeah, there's just a few things here that I'm changing. It's up to you, really. Ah, the horn, absolutely essential for a truck. Headlights, maybe. Handbrake, well, I don't know, if you're a nutter, maybe the handbrake. Force feedback strength is on -100 for some reason. It should be in the positives for a T500. If you're using a Logitech wheel, it's usually negative. So on controller 2, this is where you get some of the head movement stuff. Speed sensitivity on the steering, that should be at 0. Head movement. The default of 75 just makes me feel sick. So somewhere around 20 seems better. The rest is fine, not relevant. Controller 3, all the dead zones at nothing. They're all fine. Then display settings. Some presets here that you can use or turn everything up to full. It's quite an old engine, so if you've got a reasonably powerful PC, it should run at max. Vertical field of view. Yeah, about there. That's fine. Audio, maybe turn the music off. Then you should exit the game and go into your PLR file. And somewhere there is a max frame rate setting. If you're like me and want a frame limiter, this is where you can do it. I put this at 120 simply because it's double the 60 Hz of my monitor and I think it looks smoother. You could leave it unlocked, but things tend to get hot. Or you could use VSync. I don't like to use VSync for simulators due to the input lag, but up to you. And then the controller.ini file. There's a steering wheel range at 270. I'll put that at 540. Save that. And then in my controller settings, T500 is at 1080. I'll move that to 540 as well. That just means that the in-game steering wheel will line up with my T500. Oh, it's that music again. Let's do a quick race, put it down to 10 minutes. And off we go. One more setting to mention. There's the steering lock in Garage 1. Default is 14 and that works well with 540 degrees of rotation. You can put it up to 22 and it makes it feel more like a race car. And if you're at higher rotation like 900, maybe you want an even higher steering lock. But for me, 14 works. It kind of feels a bit understeery, but it's a truck. So skip quali, straight into the race. Off we go. Yep, rubbing is racing. So one thing to point out is that you don't need to use lower than third gear. Oh, it's sideways already. Yeah. And first and second gears are the same because in the real trucks they've disabled first gear, so that's how they've done it in this sim. So yeah, the AI behaves fairly well. And if you just keep booting it around these corners, the rear end just slides out beautifully and you can catch it. It's pretty hilarious. What can I say about the driving experience? Well, you've got to brake early. They weigh close to 5 tons. And you've got to be wary of the amount of torque they have. They have something like 2,500 foot-pounds of torque. From very, very low RPM, so you need to be gentle out of the corners and very early on the brakes. And whenever you think you need to shift down, you probably don't need to shift down. You can probably do the entire race in 5th gear. This is with the AI at 110%. And as you can see, they're a bit cautious on the brakes. You can really outbrake them quite easily, which is a shame. For a quick race like this, this seems like a reasonable setting to have the AI on. You can just start at the back and try and get to the front in 10 minutes. Great fun. I'll just leave you to watch the rest of this thrilling truck race. And and I'll make a similar video about GameStop Car when that comes out on Steam very soon.